Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon, you're talking about possibly the best backfield in the country this past fall. They both move on to the NFL draft. Samaje Perine, one of the most prolific backs in the history of the school. If you look at the numbers, he had that amazing 2014 campaign. The numbers dwindled past that. That may have more to do with others emerging. And, of course, Joe Mixon being one of the main components there, and lightning quick. So before we talk about the guys that we're going to see this spring and going into the fall, Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon, the losses are pretty immense in regards to the ability and talent.
Yeah, I mean, I know Oklahoma fans are happy with the way the team has recruited the position over the last couple of years, and they feel confident that the Sooners can replace those guys without taking too big a step back. But I think that we'll really come to regard those guys, especially in the years to come, as generational talents who really helped out the team, were a big part of its success the last couple of seasons. And so it's not going to be easy to replace them. I think that right now the Sooners are looking at more of a running back by committee approach. I think going into the offseason, I kind of really expected that one of Perine or Mixon might return to the Sooners, and it just didn't work out that way. So I think running back going into this season is going to be one of the more wide open position groups on the entire team.
Perine scored 51 touchdowns in his career. Obviously, Mixon just around for the 2 seasons, lightning quick out of the backfields, caught 37 passes. So he brought, of course, that dimension as well. And maybe not necessarily the best of choices for Joe Mixon. Off the field, of course, we know that, but even the choice to enter the NFL draft, but that's been his decision. So we've got Abdul Adams, who comes into his sophomore season. We've got Dimitri Flowers, who's more of a fullback type, coming into his senior season. That's what you've got coming back in regards to personnel.
Yeah, and Abdul Adams, Joe Mixon got suspended for a game last season for ripping up a parking ticket, and Perine was injured. So Abdul Adams had to start the Iowa State game, and he got some snaps in the first few series, and it just wasn't working out very well. So Dimitri Flowers ended up taking the running back snaps for the rest of the game, and he did a good job. But I think ideally this season, the Sooners would leave Flowers at fullback, not have to use him in that capacity again. Abdul Adams is absolutely going to be in the mix. Obviously, as I said, he didn't show much in that Iowa State game, but he's a freshman. He's got a lot of filling out to do. He's going to be competing with several guys, though, for those snaps. It's by no means he's not the next in line by any means. He's going to have to earn those snaps. He's going to be competing with guys like Rodney Anderson. He's probably the most interesting name that I'd say. He was coming into the 2016 season and really expected to be kind of the third in line behind Mixon and Perine, and he injured his neck in the preseason and had to miss the entire thing. But the coaches were really raving on him before the season began. And so if there's any unexpected guy that just comes out and dominates the position and becomes the national figure, he might be the guy to really keep an eye on in those terms. But the Sooners have other options as well. They brought in a JUCO guy from Lackawanna College up in Pennsylvania. His name's Marcellus Sutton. He's 5'10", 195 pounds, and he's apparently a very talented back. We also got a couple of high school guys in terms of Trey Sermon out of Georgia, and we brought in a Texas running back as well named Kennedy Brooks. So there's 5 or 6 guys competing for those snaps, and while Adams is the one with experience, it wouldn't surprise me at all if somebody like Brooks or maybe even Sutton ends up being the featured back for the Sooners next year.
Yeah, of course, Texas talent is well documented. Kennedy Brooks, the 15th rated running back in the nation, according to 247 Sports. He's 35th rated in Texas, regardless of position. Georgia has pushed Florida, Texas, and California in recent years in regarding to high school talent. And Trey Sermon, the 19th rated running back in the nation, number 12 overall player in Georgia. Dimitri Flowers, one other note on him, checking out the stats, sneaky effective out of the backfield as a pass receiver with 11 receptions for 200 yards. So obviously you've got a number of players vying for playing time. It's just one of those situations where you hope that you've recruited well enough and you've got enough talent in the fold that obviously they're not all going to pan out. There's only one football, so you need 2 or 3 guys in the mix at running back to be as effective at the position as you expect to be.
Absolutely, and I think that as you mentioned, with those guys who can do more than one thing. Lincoln Riley really values versatility at that position. He wants guys who can catch passes out of the backfield. He wants guys who can run over in the slide and make somebody go cover them. And I think he's got several players who can do that this season. So I'm excited to see how the unit goes, but I think any Oklahoma fan expecting the same kind of Mixon Pirine production should, temper their expectations a little bit. But they have every right to be excited about this group. I'm excited to see who is going to emerge from that cluster of 5 or 6 guys.